I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Without consistency, you'll never finish. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
Hello everyone. You're welcome to day 3 of the Workfront Summit 2025. It's the grand finale. I'm super excited to be here with you all. I'm super excited to see how the past 2 days have mounted up to what we're going to experience today. And I'm glad to be getting to meet you all again. So please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Just drop an emoji letting me know how you're feeling today. If this is your first time joining us, you can let me know. If you've been here for the past 2 sessions, please indicate in the comments. If you were only able to attend one day, please also do so. I just want to say hi to a few of you. Thank you so much for joining us today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you're joining from. Okay, I see some responses coming in. Please keep them coming, keep them coming. If this is your first time, if you were not able to join us over the past 2 days, I must say we've been having an amazing experience learning from seasoned experts in the industry, asking salient questions and just getting answers. The first day we got to understand how we can change or find our way around the disadvantage that currently exists in the African market, and yesterday again we're able to look into something very interesting. We talked about how employees can be retained, can find fulfillment in organizations beyond remuneration. And we also looked at how leaders can create an environment that can retain talent. And I just want to assure you that today, day 3, you are going to be experiencing a lot. We're going to be looking at growth. We're going to be looking at positioning. And I assure you, whether you are an employer or an employee, this summit, today's session is one that will change the trajectory of your career. I see Joy. Thank you so much for joining in. And I see all the fire. I love the energy. Rita is excited for day 3. I'm super excited to hear that. Uche says that the past 2 days the past 2 days and the sessions there has been so great. I agree with you. Gloria says it's day 3 for me. I like that. I've seen you over the past 2 days. Thank you for sticking through, and it's been great for you. I'm glad that you learned a lot. One of the things that stood out for me yesterday, when Alison was speaking, she talked about the different things that a leader can put in place to keep their employees. And there was a particular one that stood out for me. You know how that she wasn't micromanaged by a manager. Our manager was willing to throw her into the ocean to learn how to navigate. However, she was there as a lifeguard if she ever needed help. And I think that's something crucial that managers should have, where you don't constrain your employee to do A, B, C. Allow them to find their way. And that's really when you are able to tap into the creativity that they have. And in doing that, also, you also have to let them know that you will be present to guide them or to help them out if they are drowning. And I can so relate to Alison's experience, because I also had that, amazing managers, and I also have an amazing manager at the moment, and so much, so much, so much that we've learned. And you can also do well to share what you've learned in the comments. Over the past 2 days, if you joined us, please feel free to share what you learned. I see Christiana say she's great. It's great to be back. I've been here since day one. I'm happy to hear that. Awesome sessions. I see Olua Bukola saying this is day 3. Yes, I love the energy. Awesome. And we're going to go straight into our first session for today. And the person who will be taking us through this session, I assure you, she knows our onions. She has established and left footprints for over 2 decades in regions within and outside Africa. So you will be sure to learn a lot of things. So I want you to stay tuned. We'll be introducing her now, showing her profile, and afterwards we'll have a session. So please, if you have questions, don't wait till the end. Just keep dropping them in the chat and we'll take it. Tim, you can take it from here.
Up next. Ugochi is an experienced partnership sales and channel professional with over 15 years of experience driving innovation and growth through partnerships and channel development. She provides top-notch business strategy and organizational skills to boost organizational performance via channel and partnership expansion and development.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just checking that everyone can hear me. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet everyone. Great. Okay. So nice to meet everyone. It's an honor to be here with all of you today, the leaders in the room, aspiring change makers, and professionals committed to growth. I've titled this keynote session, The Growth Blueprint, and I want to spend the next 20 minutes breaking down something I've lived, struggled with, and ultimately come to embrace. And that is that climbing the career ladder takes more than just technical skills. It requires mindset, intentionality, and the courage to lead before you're given the title. So I want that to sink in a little bit, right? And we'll think about why we think that growth needs a blueprint, right? So over my career journey, I've realized that talent alone is not enough. The landscape is changing all the time. The game has changed. So innovation is fast today. You see what's happening with new technology coming up, AI and things like that. Systems are now complex. So you need an intentional strategy to grow, right? So let's talk about 3 pillars of career growth. There are 3 things that I'm going to hone in on today. The first one is your mindset. The second one is the habits that we form. And the third one is actually leadership. So we're going to delve into these 3 things today, right? So the first tip that I want to give is mindset. Mindset is the most important thing you have, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in, trying to achieve things, your mindset is the most important thing you have. So my first tip is mindset before milestones, right? You should have a growth mindset. So growth mindset, yes. Give up, definitely not. You should love yourself and know yourself well. A fixed mindset you don't want to have, right? So let me start with this. Your mindset is your engine. When I started my career, I was like many of you. I was ambitious, hardworking, ticking the boxes. So a degree, check, I had that. Skills, check, I had developed that. Performance, check. But I quickly realized technical skill is entry level. What differentiates high growth professionals is their ability to, number one, think like owners and not just employees. Having an ownership mindset is really, really important. It allows you to really think through how to solve problems and propels you to be motivated to get answers. Otherwise, if you approach a task like it's just a paid job, then a no is okay. If someone said no to you, you're like, okay, I tried my best because you think that, I'm actually just getting paid for it. But if you approach tasks and things that you're asked to do generally with an ownership mindset, you really want to solve a problem. You are determined to make sure that you leave whatever situation you are at with a solution. And that's how you always need to think if you want to grow as a leader. The second thing is see ambiguity as opportunity. Many people are terrified of change, terrified of not not so perfect, right? But I want us to change that mindset, because every time you see ambiguity, right, as an opportunity, it means that you're embracing the situation where the path isn't clear, where your role, the outcomes or structures aren't well defined. And you're treating those opportunities not as problems, but as openings for innovation, taking leadership, and value creation. So, really, what this means in practice is it's about shifting your mindset from, I need more clarity before I act, to, this is a chance to define the path, right? To shape the solution, and most importantly, for you to stand out. Like people who are solving problems. If you are in an organization and you solve problems, people will notice you. People will decide this person has leadership qualities. This is someone we need to watch. So you need to be making sure that you're solving problems. So that's the first tip that I think, you definitely should have, right? So now I want to talk about your growth mindset versus your fixed mindset, right? So a growth mindset will see will see failure as learning, right? So many people are stuck on failure. When they fail, they feel like, that's the end of it. There's nothing I can do anymore. Everything is over. No. But if you take, every time you fail, if you say, what have I learned, right? Or what were the lessons here? Then you start to grow, right? So that's the growth mindset that we're talking about. So the second thing is you should always ask, what's the opportunity here, right? This has failed, but what's the opportunity here to learn, to grow, to be more, right? The third thing is ambiguity does not equal risk, right? Sometimes it does, but you shouldn't always look at it as, this is a risk. You should, from a growth mindset, think of it like white space. So opportunity to actually be something win at something, do something innovative. That's how you should think about things. And then the last thing is those who thrive don't fear change, right? They design through it. If you think about everyone that has achieved a great like milestone or innovation, has built something big, right? They weren't afraid to try. And it was a change that we probably thought was never going to happen, but they just took on the challenge and said, we're going to design through whatever this fear of change is. And that's the kind of mindset that you should have if you're thinking about growing. You should have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So the second thing I want to talk about is habits build momentum. So that's my second tip, right? Growth doesn't come from the occasional inspiration that you have. It comes from daily discipline. The habits that I've built have been my compound interest, right? So early on in your career, early on in your leadership journey, you need to build habits that will eventually make you successful. So let me share 3 things that have changed everything for me. The first thing is proactive learning, right? So where someone would say, oh, this is not going to add to what I'm doing today, doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn new things, right? Because the opportunity doesn't come when you're learning. The opportunity comes after you know, right? So people say where the sweet spot is where opportunity meets preparation. Proactive learning is preparation. The opportunity will come, and then if you haven't learned anything, you're never going to take advantage of the opportunity. So the first thing is proactive learning. So every 6 months, I ask myself, what new capability do I need to stay relevant? This is really important in today's age. If you think about AI and all of the new innovations that are coming up, you have to specifically now be asking yourself, every 6 months, you can do it every 3 months. What new capability do I need to stay relevant? So that's how I transitioned from partner management to a growing interest and knowledge base in AI ethics. So AI ethics is not what I do today. I still do partner management, but I have been able to find additional opportunities to do things that haven't been done before because I took an early interest in AI ethics and started to proactively learn. I took a course last year. I've been to small workshops. I continue to grow, and now I want to do some certifications. So even if today I'm not in a role that is focused on AI ethics, I do have opportunities that have come up in the last couple of months where I'm talking about AI ethics, and people are inviting me to things. So that's what I mean by proactive learning, right? That's why I now have taken a challenge up with health AI partnerships at Google where I work, right? Before health AI was even anything for anyone to talk about, I put my hand up to say I'm happy to pioneer here and learn as much as I can while I'm doing it. So I don't wait for learning and development opportunities. I curate my own growth. So it's really important that you sit back, ask yourself the question, like I said before, what new capability do I need to stay relevant? And when you ask yourself that question, you say these are the opportunities in this area, which would fit me best, and then you start your learning journey, right? That keeps you on your toes, right? So I think one of the most important things to learn really early in your career is growth does not have to be linear, right? When I say linear, I mean you shouldn't always be thinking, what's the next promotion in this my role? What's the next step into leading a team? You can create more meaningful growth by expanding your knowledge, your skills, and your network to explore other exciting opportunities like I've just mentioned, right? So the second thing is relationship as currency. I'll explain what I mean by that. I've learned through my journey that your network is your growth engine. And when I say network, I don't mean networking for visibility. I mean, that's great. People should see you and know what you do. But your sole aim for networking shouldn't just be visibility. I mean, investing in relationships that stretch your thinking and open doors for you. right? You should have those relationships that make you think about being better, about what is next in line for you, and things like that. Some of my biggest career shifts have come from people I've helped, people I've mentored or co-created with years before I needed their support. I'll give an example, from my role at Google. Before I joined Google, I used to be at SAP. And one random day, an exec I worked with at SAP a couple of years before sent me a message and said, "Oh, I saw a role, at Google, and I just thought, this is you. So I thought to send you the role." And then he sends me the role. And I think, okay, who do I know at Google? And then I realized that someone that I had worked with at Microsoft, who was on my team, worked at Google. So I reached out to her and I said, "Oh, someone sent me this role, and that they think it's something that I should be able to do." And then she said, "Oh, great, I will do a reference for you." Right. And then she does the reference. And a couple of days later, a recruiter from Google called me and said, "Oh, we like your CV, and would you like to interview?" And that's really, what started me on the journey at Google. But I tell this story because my network was literally what brought the opportunity to me, and my network was what made me then able to submit a CV through a reference, and obviously then easier for someone to find my CV and say that they liked it. So that's why I've given this example. So remember, right, your relationship is currency. Right. So you keep those relationships, continue to make sure that you build them throughout your career. And then the third thing is reflect and recalibrate. Once a quarter, I unplug. I ask what's working, what's noise, what needs to be released, right? One of the most frequent pieces of advice, anyone that knows me knows that I talk about this a lot. I give people is that there's always a lot of noise. One of the best skills that you can ever learn is how to cut out the noise. What I mean by this is people are always going to be saying, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." People give unsolicited advice all the time. People give solicited advice. So you have unsolicited, you have solicited, you have social media, you have all of the just, I don't know how to say it without being a little funny, but there's all of the noise from LinkedIn about all the people saying all the fantastic, wonderful things that they've done. So there's noise everywhere, right? But you should be able to control that. You should be able to say once a quarter, "I'm going to unplug," right? What's working? What is noise? What needs to be released? What do I need to stop doing and wasting my time so that I can do more productive things, right? So that's what I mean when I say, cut out the noise. That habit has saved me from burnout. It also gave me clarity on when to pivot. So I would then say to myself, "Okay, have I done enough at SAP? I've been here 8 years. I think it's time to move, right? What are the skills that I require for me to move?" So it will give you clarity moving from SAP to Google, and from core product roles to ecosystem impact, if that's what you're looking at, as was for me, right? Now, the third tip I want to give you is that leadership is a daily decision. You don't arrive at leadership and say, "Oh, I've arrived." So let's talk about leadership, because here's the hard truth. If you wait for someone to give you permission to lead, you've already lost. You should approach everything with a leadership mindset, right? So leadership isn't about arriving at the corner office. I get here and I'm a leader and this is leadership. No, it's about creating outcomes, lifting others, and owning your influence, no matter what your title is. So you could be front office and still lead. So it's not, which is why I say it's not a destination. It's not the corner office. It's not, "I've arrived here." No, you can lead wherever you are. And people will notice that and say, "This person has leadership capabilities. Maybe we then need to elevate the person," right? when I volunteered to lead the Africa's Health AI partnerships here, it wasn't my job. It was a 20% project, which is something we call our Google Passion projects, right? It wasn't my job, but then I put my hand up. So you kind of curate your leadership journey and curate the skills that you need. But because I had seen a gap, right? And I had said, okay, so the African countries may be left out of AI health design. So I stepped in and, jumped in both feet, to help write the partnership roadmap. And I'm actively helping to build that coalition. Once we've built that, that work will help influence diagnostic, disease surveillance, and equitable tech access to millions of people across the continent. And that is something that someone will then look at and say, oh my God, she took leadership here. And maybe if there's an opportunity, then we elevate her into that leadership position in that role, right? So I'm giving, the tips that I've used, and I hope that they're useful for you as well, right? So another tip is how you navigate a fast-paced world, right? So let's face it today. The work environment is volatile. Today's work environment is volatile. That you hear about, even in big tech, you hear about layoffs here today, strategy changes tomorrow, we're pivoting from this to that, so it's always uncertain, it's brutally fast. You could wake up today and literally half of your work is gone. This is no longer priority, we're doing something else. And it's because there's revenue constraints. It's because there's revenue constraints that you always see. You always as well have things like people, coming onto you to say, oh my God, I don't know if competition is doing something else, or maybe what you're doing is not important, we need to pivot, right? So those are all the things that cause all of the disruptions, and you have to quickly think about how you move through. Yeah. So what got you here today might not get you there tomorrow. So how do you stay ahead? The first thing is think systems, not silos, right? I'm sure, sorry, I think my slide, yes. So it's here. So think systems and not silos. Do not just optimize your role. Understand how your work connects to the business models. This is very important, right? Because growth comes when you start solving for the whole organization, not just your lane. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you're in product, right, you must understand what the organization's priority is. If the organization's priority is to make money, is revenue, understand how your role contributes to that, and make sure that it's obvious to everybody else how your product role is contributing to the organization making revenue. Because what's most important is to the organization making money. What's most important to the organization is making money. So you have to absolutely make sure that you're connecting to the whole, right? The second thing is build a career portfolio. We're no longer, one job for life people. The world is shifting. Those days where our parents would be in banking for 30 years and then leave banking and go somewhere else, and go and retire somewhere, it's gone. Nobody is doing that anymore. And you should shift as the world is shifting. I'm a partnerships leader right now, yes, but I'm also a volunteer disability advocate, an AI ethics scholar, and a community builder, right? So you can't just be one person, yeah? So the leader that the world wants today is a leader that is multifaceted. So you have to actively solve for that when you build your career blueprint. Your growth is exponential when you stop fitting into one box, because people can then approach you for lots of things. And people want leaders that understand the breadth of things, understand how the world works, understand how to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. If you are stuck in one box, it will be very difficult for you to lead horizontally or across board, right? And then number 3, fail fast, reflect faster, right? You will make mistakes. I've had launches that have flopped, deals that have stalled, ideas that were rejected. But I treat failure as feedback. Very important. I've said before, you feel that this, you go back, you think about it. So failure should be feedback, not your identity. Don't think that, oh, I feel that this, everybody thinks I'm a failure. No. Failure does not define you, it refines you. Remember, failure does not define you, it refines you. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. And I smiled when I was listening to the Denzel play, because he actually said that. So I don't fail backwards, I fail forward. So it's about bouncing forward. So you drop and then bounce forward, right? So as we're coming to the end, and I know that my time is almost up, I want us to just reflect on our growth blueprint, right? And there are 5 takeaways that I think are absolutely important. So I'll leave you with this blueprint. You should ask yourself 5 questions monthly, not yearly. Every month, ask yourself these 5 questions. Am I solving harder problems this month than last month? 2, what skill am I actively learning or sharpening? 3, who did I support, mentor, or elevate this week? 4, where am I playing it safe and why? 5, what version of myself do I need to outgrow next? These 5, if you ask yourself these 5 questions every month, you will grow. I promise you, I can assure you, you will grow, right? So all I would like you to do today is say, challenge accepted. I take these and I will work on them. Thank you very much for listening.
Challenge accepted. Thank you so much, Ugochi. That was very insightful. Felt like a master class, really. Thank you so much. So we have questions for you. And because of time, I'll start with the audience questions. And then if we have more time, I'll take mine. Rita says, could you describe a time where your principles were tested in a leadership decision, and how did you respond?
Sure. I think there are a number of times. There are always times that principles are tested. So there are a number of things. There could be moral and kind of ethical principles that are tested, and then there could be business sort of principles that are tested. I will give an example of the two. So I think with partnerships, this is very common with partnerships. When you lead a partnerships or channel in a big organization, partners must be treated equally. Of course, human beings will always be human beings, and you have salespeople, you have sales leaders who might find that a partner to them is more important because the partner delivers more revenue. But it doesn't change the fact that we have to be ethical in the way that we treat partners, and we have to give every single partner the same chance that we do. So I recall this was a really senior leader, almost like a VP, reaching out to me for a partner that he particularly liked. Because the partner would deliver lots of revenue for the region. And he was like, oh, there's this one of the biggest banks in Nigeria at the time was looking for a partner, and he wanted us to write to the bank. But of course, he can't write, and it has to be the partner organization. So he said to me, write to the bank and say that, oh, we have a number of partners, but this one is really good at doing what you've asked. But you can also check other partners. I said, I will not be able to do that. And he was like, no, but I'm asking you to do it. I said, no, we can't do that, because the policy is that we send them a link, and the link has every single partner and every skill that every partner has. And then they make a decision based on all of the information that the partners have put on their links to decide, what they kind of choose. And he was really upset. I mean, he sent me, I can't say what he sent on by WhatsApp. Yeah. But he did send me that message, and I didn't respond. I didn't respond on WhatsApp. I basically sent him back an email copying compliance and legal, and saying that I do realize that you have you have a working relationship with this partner. This is the procedure that we follow. to recommend partners to customers. Let me know if you're okay with me doing this, or if you don't want us to recommend the partner anymore. And of course, because there was compliance and legal in the email, he then says, oh, please, let's follow, you know, follow the procedure and ethics and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think the other example would be, I don't know if I should give the other example, I'll allow other people to kind of ask questions.
Oh no, I think it's well, we can take
Okay.
that, and why I like that, it just shows how ethics is very important, and I like the way you were able to manage the situation, because many a times in corporate world, we're always like, oh, because this person is saying this, I have to do it. But I think that's a very brilliant one, putting ethics first. Thank you so much.
I
So
think what's more important in that conversation is the ownership. When you're a leader, taking ownership and acting like, this is my own. With me, I treat all the partners like, I'm like they are part of me. So I don't treat it like a role. Everyone used to say, you're the partner mama, because I was very passionate about. I'm like, we need to think about how we're affecting the partners. These partners, it's not a charity for them, it's a business. We need to make sure they're making money. We need to make sure that their interests are looked after within the organization, and that should guide the kind of decisions we make.
mhm. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to move on to the next question. She says, Ukeme says, from your experience, how can someone genuinely build and nurture professional relationships when they are just starting out their career or navigating a career shift? And if I could add to this, there's something they say that if you are trying to nurture relationships, some people see it as lobbying. So how can you balance that and still nurture it when you're early on in your career?
So I think there's a balance that you need to strike. For me, I try to strike a balance. I'm very friendly in the workplace. And it's not for many people. But the thing with I understand the sentiment about lobbying, because if you're very friendly and you want to be everyone's friend and there's very little substance in terms of work, then people see it as lobbying. Now, if you are excellent at your job and you're friendly, people see it as professional networking. This person is really good. And then, there's this bonus because she's also such a nice person and she's so warm and all of that. So I think you need to strike that balance. It's not a good look for you to always want to be everyone's friend, always put something in people's calendar, and you don't really have much substance in terms of work, right? I'll give an example. I my real big like break into tech was Microsoft. I worked in a small tech firm when I came back from doing my master's, and then a couple of months later I moved to Microsoft. But I moved to Microsoft as a contract staff. And then I said there, and this again just talks about, how you are intentional about building a growth blueprint. I went into the interview and then they said to me, oh, we really want you to work here, but we only have a contract rule. And then I said to them, well, I won't do a contract rule for more than a year because I will only really do full time. And they said to me, oh, no one has ever kind of moved here before a 2-year period. So let's look at 2 years. I said, well, I'm not doing this for more than a year. If after a year I'm contract, I'm leaving. And then they were like, yeah, but that was my blueprint. I literally said to myself, 1 year, 12 months. After 12 months, on the day it's 12 months, I'm going to leave this organization and look for something else. So because I had said that, I already from the first day started mapping out like a plan, basically. And what that plan entailed was, how do I find full-time roles where I could fit in, right? And there's an opportunity. So as soon as someone, and coincidentally, she left to Google, said she was leaving a couple of months later, this was maybe 3 months later or 4 months later, my manager, who was her manager as well, was like, oh my God, it's going to take us 6 months to hire someone. And I said to him, why do you need to hire someone? We have another 6 months to the end of the year. Give me 6 months. I will do both roles for free. Right, I'm happy to do it because I knew it was a full-time role. And he was like, "Oh, you're already busy." I said, "No, I can manage it. I can do it." So I would do both roles for free, and I would continue to deliver on my role. And the thing is, in the 6 months before the end of the year, because I knew I had only 6 months before the end of the year and the budget for the person's role comes back, I said to myself, I'm going to deliver more than this person has delivered in 2 years of her being full-time on this role, because I want to make sure that it's not a conversation of oh, should we give her the role or not? It's basically the 6 months comes to an end and someone gives me a contract, which is exactly what happened. Because the things we did in 6 months, the people at Microsoft were like, it's taken us years to do this. I mean, we've built a relationship with the Director General of the NCC in 6 months. We've not done that before. And it was you literally saying, give me a ticket to Abuja. I knew nobody. I literally went to the gate of NCC and said, I want to see the Director General. And they were like, where are you from? I'm like, Microsoft. I didn't know him. I had no meeting. I was just bluffing. And they were like, oh, okay. And they opened the gates. And it was literally, and that's how we formed this partnership. We did like radio shows, we did TV shows with the NCC. We did compliance things. We went to schools, all in 6 months. We found $300,000 that I just went around the organization begging for, but we used to execute this in 3 months as contract, not my full-time role. But in that process, I made professional, networks, relationships. The country director was 1,000% on my side. All of the leadership in Nigeria, West Africa, my leaders in South Africa were 100% on my side. At the end of that role, at the end of the 6 months, when they said they wanted to hire someone, they literally just said to me, "Oh, you have the role. We don't want to interview you. I mean, if you did this in 6 months, why do we need to interview you?" And even when I was going back and forth on levels and roles, because I had built this professional relationships with all these people trying to get that work done, because I would go to them and say, I need your help. I would say to my country manager, give me 1 day of your time. Come with me to Abuja so you can be the leader in that meeting with the Director General. And he's like, so I had built that professional network. So they were the ones negotiating on my behalf. I literally wasn't doing anything. The country director will call me and say, they said they want to pay you this. I don't think you deserve that. I've said to them, you deserve this. People would call me and say, if they say this to you, and they were all leaders in the organization because of the relationships I had built. But it was built on the back of work I had done.
That's a lot to take in. And I must say that that's a challenge for everyone listening in, to just go the extra mile to prove yourself and ensure that you have substance, you have credibility, and you are competent, And I would have loved to continue asking you questions, but I know we're short for time. Thank you so much for this session. It was very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Wow. I must say that has been very amazing. I learned a lot. And I'm very sure, I'm already seeing it in the chat. Gloria says she loves our decision-making mindset. David says this is really great to hear. And I just want to encourage everyone listening in. I hope you took tips. Please feel free to watch this again because it's going to be on our YouTube channel, and just put these things, practice them, and just ensure that you are that person who is constantly going for growth, taking the bull by the horn and cementing yourself in the workspace. Right about now, we're going to be going on a brief break. There will be some announcements, and afterwards we'll go into a very insightful panel session. So please stay tuned, engage in the comments, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Oluwatobiloba Rotimi, and I'm a strategic brand designer with over 5 years of experience driving results through content and digital marketing. I worked as a freelancer and also a team member within organizations where I developed brand systems, social media designs, and marketing designs that drives results. My skill set spans strategic brand identity, social media management, meta ads, video editing, and motion graphics. What sets me apart is my ability to blend strategy with execution. I don't just make things look good, I make things work. If you're looking for someone who can lead, create, and deliver impact, that will be me. I'll be looking forward to receiving your feedback. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here with us at the Workfront Summit 2025. We hope you've been having an amazing time. At Talenvo, over the last months, we've been building more than just a platform. We've been building possibility. From helping talents land global roles to giving companies smarter ways of connecting and discovering new talent, real skills. Our mission has been to help the world see a new way of viewing talent. But we knew there was something missing, something that could bring all of us even closer. Today, we are proud to introduce something different, a new space, a new way of connecting, a new way to grow, and a new way to do community. It is bold, it is intentional, built for people just like you. Doers, builders, change makers. Introducing Circle.
We all want to grow, but it's hard when you're doing it alone. You've got talent. Now you need a tribe. Say hello to Circle by Talenvo, a new kind of tribe for people who want more. More growth, more impact, more people who just get it. Circle is your space to learn, build, and thrive. We're not waiting for the future. We're building it, city by city. Circle by Talenvo. Real people, real growth, real impact.
Hi, my name is Tobi Olagoke.
Hi, my name is Victor.
Hi, I'm Shalom. I'm a good marketer. I heard about Talenvo from Temidayo, and he shared his dream about helping the next generation of tech enthusiasts.
So I got to know about Talenvo when I met Temidayo, the founder, last year. And I keep so much into the vision because I could relate to it as someone whose journey in tech started from a community that was also based on accountability.
Talenvo has been impressive since the start. And looking at how far they have come, how far they are set to go, Talenvo has shown itself to be that brand that positions talent for global excellence.
So seeing what Talenvo is doing by bringing talent, equipping them with the resources that they need to grow and ensuring that they stay accountable to the growth is something I strongly believe in.
And one thing I would say is Talenvo has many more years of impressive growth.
I want to wish them an happy anniversary and cheers to more years of developing talent.
And even as Talenvo is turning one, happy 1 year anniversary Talenvo, and I wish you many more years of equipping talent and helping talents grow.
Happy anniversary Talenvo.
Up next. Joke Akintara is a dynamic growth and product manager with over 7 years of experience in fintech and tech. She currently leads growth at Verto, simplifying global cross-border payments. Family with fine bands and Credo, Joke also mentors startups and shares knowledge through Product Confidence Academy and Weave a New Tribe. Olaronke Blaze is a seasoned HR professional with a strong track record in building and scaling people teams across fintech and other industries. Olaronke holds an SPHRI certification and a master's in management, and she's passionate about crafting inclusive workplaces. Michelle Ogenerukewe is the founder of Mish Consulting and Career Services. She's a purpose-driven HR professional, technical recruiter, career coach, and founder, passionate about impacting lives and shaping Africa's workforce.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi. Nice to meet you, Laurenke and Michelle. We have a Power Women panel today, and I'm excited about it. All right, so in the next 25 minutes, we'll be running and talking through what makes hiring managers, what hiring managers are really looking for in 2025 and beyond, what makes the candidates stand out in the interview process. And so today we're going to be hearing directly from two phenomenal professionals in the HR community. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long time because I think there's something for everyone to learn, whether you're a recruiter or you're a talent, or whether you're just starting out in your career or you have many years of experience in your portfolio. So today we're going to learn about key skills, key attributes, and trends that are shaping the landscape, what to look out for, and all of that. It's going to be very engaging. If you have questions, please feel free to put them down at the end of the section. We'll take them. All right, so we'll start with brief introductions. I know that the bios have already been read, or we can put a little more sass into it. So I'll start with Olaronke. Can you just introduce yourself to us again very briefly?
Okay, like you rightly said, I'm Olaronke, and background in building people teams and scaling the people operations as well. And I would say one of the things that resonates with me is helping new talents, entry-level professionals navigate their career terrain.
Amazing. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Joke. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Just tell us a little more about yourself and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Michelle. I'm the founder of Mitch Consulting and Career Services. I'm also an HR professional and a technical recruiter. So I would say I'm one HR king about shaping the next talents for Africa and beyond. So yeah, at the moment, I'm working with volunteers, interns to put them out there to get opportunities and leveraging on LinkedIn. So that's just something something witty about me. During the conversation, I'm hoping to share more. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Let's get right into it then. So this particular question is going to be open to our two panelists. We'll start with Olaronke. So in your experience, what makes a candidate truly stand out in the competitive job market? It's so competitive out there. Beyond just having the right qualifications, what specific candidate behaviors, interview styles, or communication approaches have impressed you personally that you can share with us today?
So on that, I would say I wouldn't downplay qualifications. So because people have worked hard at actually getting the degrees, the first class, second class offer and the likes. So I wouldn't downplay that. While that is great, I would say that if what a professional knows today and what they knew as at when they graduated is still the same thing, no additions whatsoever, then that means there is a huge gap. So to remain competitive in today's market, talents have to be intellectually curious. So intellectually curiosity in the sense that they are constantly aware of what the new trends are in their industry, as well as constantly upskilling. So, in terms of behaviors that talent should have these days, I would say ownership. So no, especially because in today's work environment where people working remotely with distributed team days, nobody would spell out A to Z what you need to do. So taking ownership at time on what task needs to be done, being proactive rather than being reactive is one of the behaviors that is truly needed in today's work environment. Another thing I would say is that is communication, right? Being able to articulate the value add that you'll have on the team. It's one thing to have a great resume, have the qualifications lined up, and another thing to be able to speak to it. So being
Yeah.
able to articulate what competencies they're bringing on board is also truly instrumental in today's environment. In terms of you'd mentioned some other thing. I think you mentioned some other area. Again,
Um, interview styles.
yeah, on interview styles as well, I would still relate that largely to how the work environment has evolved. So we have today some candidates will try to join like a virtual call, and the link is embedded and they're struggling with it. So being able to be self-aware, be technologically savvy, right? And because of the different work environment, different tools, even if a tenant hasn't used a particular tool before, but the fact that it is needed or required to carry out work, being able to proactively learn is what is needed part time. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. I like that you mentioned ownership and communication. You think that people would be able to note that by default, but not a lot of people actually hold that. Even the tech savviness. Imagine coming to a technical interview and you can't even join the call correctly. Such an irony. Michelle, what do you have to share?
Sorry, that was so funny. I just had to laugh about it because there was something I saw earlier this week about someone that led a team of, I think, a team of 12 in three different zones. And then he was asked to join a meeting and he was asking what's the meaning of EST. And I was kind of confused. He said he works in three different zones and then you don't even know what EST means. So, yeah, for me, the first thing I would say is there's a difference with being intelligent and then being smart. So most people leave the university with the mindset that they are intelligent and they deserve to get the job and they rely on their degrees. For me, what I'm looking out for or what makes a candidate stand out for me is not necessarily their qualification because if you ask professionals in the tech industry, they would let you know that most of them finish from even social science courses, but nowadays nobody's even keen about that. So I keen about what you can do. So the ability to know that what you have is just by the wayside and is the barest minimum would help you know that you need to arm yourself with skills. Will let you know that hey, I'm not waiting for my degree in forestry to get me a job. I'm looking at what is currently in demand. And when you see people like that, you can just tell because the number of people that did, I mean, it's the first time getting on a role, but if you try to look through their CV, you would see some level of trainings, free courses that you see the intentionality on their CV. So yeah, I try to look out for that level of intentionality, stepping outside of your zone. While during the interview session, one thing I try to look out for is your ability to communicate. Okay, there are a number of people that they when they appear in the interview, you just know that this person is reading from somewhere. Like someone will start with, "I am an adept robotic communicator." Like it's so obvious that hey, you're reading from somewhere. Stop that. I am looking out for authenticity. Like, show me who you are. Don't rely on what you saw online. Don't come with ChatGPT prompts and start talking to me. I would know because I know how to use ChatGPT too. So yeah, um, come out unique, come out authentic about what you are coming to sell because it's a two-way thing. You are not a slave to us. We want to benefit from you. You want to benefit from us. Okay, so it's a two-way thing. In terms of interview style, just like Ronke said, a number of people want to get remote jobs, but they don't understand what it means to be tech savvy in this generation. And I'm saying that because everybody gives the excuse that, oh, I've not worked in that environment. How can I learn? You can learn. You can learn because most people just rely on Zoom. They know only Zoom. When you speak about Microsoft Teams, they are confused. When you speak about Google Meet, they are confused. And in today's world, in terms of getting a job, there's something called asynchronous recruitment, right? Asynchronous recruitment now is a recruitment style that helps to hasten the hiring process, where you don't necessarily have to always be in touch with the candidates immediately. So what I'm trying to say is the interview process is going on, but we're not actively on the same, like we're not based on this, we're in this different. I could
Yeah.
ask you for a video interview. Now, most people are not open to a video interview. Once they see send a video interpret or speaking about yourself, they give up there. But that's what's going on in the markets today. Most of the roles I've gotten that EST time based, you need to be open to asynchronous recruitment. You need to be open to sending to presenting yourself. And aside from that, there are other things that that varies around the world of recruitment today in terms of interview styles. You get on a call and maybe something goes wrong with your network or something, you're kind of destabilized. But there are also key things you need to look out for, not just the job. Okay, in terms of my network, do I have a solid network? In terms of where I'm currently staying, do I have a backup for my for light? What's my internet speed? There are things that we need to frame ourselves with, so you're not coming looking confused and then you go online to say how you've worked in different time zones. So yeah, for me, those are the things I'm looking out for. I want to see authenticity, I want to see the ability to grow, and then like Ronke said, I want to see ownership and proactiveness. A number of people, they want to wait for you to, I think it's just left for you to feed them. Because because if you would give someone an opportunity and they expect you to do every single bit for them, the world of work is not dependent on micromanagement. Everybody owns their tasks and everybody gets through with it. So yeah, that is what I would say from looking out for.
Solid, solid. With these answers to the first question, we can spend the entire time just talking about that first subject. I can tell that we have such knowledgeable minds in the room. I think one place that we intersected in our conversations is that while your qualifications are important, it's like the barest minimum, right? And your soft skills like communication and you being able to being open to asynchronous recruitment might be one of some of the things that make you stand out, even from the basics, the very, very basics. Okay, so we have to move on pretty quickly. I think I'll go to Olaronke. I can see that you've worked closely with talents navigating career transitions. I'm sure there are many people listening to us now that probably started in one career and want to move on to another career. What would you recommend as practical steps for someone that is trying to future-proof their career today? So, for example, they might be in tech or operations or HR, and they want to future-proof their career. What would you advise?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I could remember sometime back, I think during COVID or so, when we say, oh, the future of work is actually the now of work, actually, the future is here. So, in terms of future proofing one's career for those that particularly want to transition, I would say I would just break that down into 3 steps. So, firstly, I would say they have to be self aware. So self-awareness, knowing what your core strengths are and areas of weakness, and being able to find out what the gaps are. So once you're aware of what the gaps are, you'll be able to build on that so that it becomes a strength. Then next is also be aware of the industry trend. So it's not just enough to say, oh, I want to transition to a new career path, and then you have zero idea whatsoever on what the trends in that industry is. Case in point, I know using typewriter is extinct now. Just imagine somebody saying, oh, I want to learn how to use a typewriter. It's of no economic relevance whatsoever. So being industry aware, we can see now that AI is grossly used across several industries. I had a conversation on areas that wouldn't be impacted by AI. And funny enough, it's things that require dexterity, except the person is looking to transition into plumbing or fishing, then definitely. So being self-aware, industry aware, and also being able to upskill and relearn. So that is the only thing we can do. Oh, a life of lifelong learning, where you learn, you unlearn some things and actually relearn. So being able to transition, you need those skill to be able to transition. And I would also add networking as well. So you don't network for when you actually need that network, but then you network before you need one. And also building digital footprints. Before now, there was nothing about embedding the link to your LinkedIn URL on your resume. But for some reason now it's required because
Mm.
your digital footprint is revealed. Just imagine maybe if someone is looking to transition to like a social media manager, and then on their digital footprint they're having like negative comments all across board. So
Mm.
definitely that just disqualifies such a person. So
Mm.
digital footprint is very, very important as well. So those are like the steps that I would recommend for anyone looking to transition.
Thank you. That was very concise and very actionable. I remember being at an interview and not even one. And on the spot, the recruiter is searching my Twitter and asking me about my comments. So yeah, I think now that we're even going into a very global ecosystem, that digital footprint part is very important. Like you mentioned, relearning, unlearning, networking. Thank you very much. So my next question for Michelle is, from your perspective, what are some common mistakes that candidates make during the application or interview process? I have some examples myself that are very silly. Some people put the wrong email, for example, but I'm curious to know what are some other common ones or ones that can be easily missed, and how can we fix them?
Mhm. Thank you so much. So, when you said this about the wrong email, it just got me laughing because you see a number of people, your name is Michelle, and then your email is sexy at life4@gmail.com. And then I asked myself, how do I know this person is this person? That is even the first mistake, but I would leave that as something that is extinct. For me, what I would say is one of the major mistakes that most candidates make now is not even understanding the application process. So, for example, you're probably asked, okay, speak about your work experience in a cover letter, and you go to ChatGPT, you
Mm.
copy what you see there, and then you put it there. I keep explaining to candidates that for you to scale through the application stage, you can't have one CV for all the jobs like you're applying for. You must
Mm.
tailor yourself to fit into that job description because they are very careful with their needs. So you should also be very careful with your offerings in the
Okay.
sense that when it comes to most of these global roles or roles that are maybe exciting that you want to get picked for, you need to look out for the keywords on that CV. I'm not saying you should copy the CV. Try to tweak that CV to fit into what they are looking out for. Because nowadays, based off of what we're speaking about AI, nobody, I mean, me, I'm not going to look at over 2,000 CVs. Okay.
Mm.
Most times we have tools called ATS. ATS will literally scan most of these applications. So imagine the ATS has been programmed to look for certain keywords, and now your CV is something that doesn't have like there's no alignment, but you have the same role. Now it's going to be very
Yeah.
hard for you to get that job. One other mistake I noticed that they make is their inability to be creative with their roles. Everybody
Mm.
understands in a work environment, most companies try to rename and customize the roles that you play. For example, someone that is a customer support in company A, the person might be called a client resolution, blah, 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 in another place. And now you're applying for a job for a customer support, but your recent work was client something, something. It's still the same role, okay? So there's a way you can still tweak that role to fit into that role that you're trying to apply for. In that way, you would be part of the people they would likely pick. But some people will leave their role just as it is. That
Mm-hmm.
way, you will not be called for an interview. Then I also want to speak about the interview process itself, and I will speak from the virtual point because most of the things we're doing now is virtual.
It's
One thing
virtual.
I've one thing I've noticed that candidates, one of the major mistakes they make is they join the call. When you're scheduled for an interview for 2:30, they join the call on 2:30. There's no test run. Before this session, you can agree with me that Talenvo already provided a room for us to join the backstage. I think
Yeah.
over 15 minutes before the call. Why? to ensure that we have everything checked in, to ensure the audio, no problem, So candidates need to start seeing that activity as part of the interview process itself. It shouldn't be maybe I would, try to check in yourself, because you can't join the call 2:30 on the job on the dot and expect to be organized and coordinated. It's not possible, because
Mm.
it's when you turn on your video, you notice that one of your hair you didn't adjust this place, so you're trying to, you start losing confidence. No, I mean it's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
You start losing
Very
confidence.
practical.
Yes, it's very practical. You start losing confidence from there, and before you know it, the interviewer is like, "What is happening here?" And you've
Mm-hmm.
lost it. So I'm trying to use these practical steps so that people can also look within, and not just you are joining an interview, people are shouting, you're in the bus, is funny. And also how
Yeah.
they can leverage on, tech tools to help them prepare. There are a number of them that you can use to help you prepare. For example,
Mm-hmm.
you might say, "Oh, I've not worked in an environment where these tools are used," but you can actually start by using Google Reminders to set up the different interviews that you have. You can
Mm-hmm.
also use Notion. Notion is an all-encompassing, it's an all-encompassing tool that you can use for a number of things. You can use
Mm-hmm.
Notion to track the different job applications you're having.
Mm-hmm.
You can use Asana to also see your progress. You can track your progress. You can give yourself, you can start even having retro calls yourself. Okay, have feedback. You can tell yourself,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, for this particular interview, I think this is what I did not do well." Even before the recruiter reaches out to you. That way you're understanding your growth process and you're learning from your mistakes. So I think these are practical tips. One of the mistakes that I
Thank
believe
you.
in,
Wow.
how we
Thank
can do.
you. Very, very practical, very concise as well. Um, I think when you mentioned, you know, tailoring the CV a bit more closely, I think it's something a lot of people don't do. You just find 10 jobs per day and then just spread it across everybody that you're recruiting, that is recruiting, and you're wondering why you're getting a lot of rejections. I think that's very good feedback. And another thing I know that works is going out of your way to know more about the company, reaching out to people that already work there to get more insights. All right, so we're very close to the end now. So I would like each panelist to just give the audience one final word of encouragement or advice. If there's something that they should take home today that would be very, very instrumental to their hiring process, what would that be? Go back to Lauren Care. Yes.
Okay. So on that, like you rightly mentioned, the job market is highly competitive. That can be overemphasized. So what I would say is developing a growth mindset and a resilient mindset, such that you are constantly adaptable to whatever changes or industry trends happen per time. That would be what I would leave the audience with.
Thank you so much. The growth mindset, keep growing, keep learning, keep improving yourself. Such a competitive landscape out here, so competitive. And thanks for Talenvo. You have all the room to learn, to explore. So we'll go to Michelle now for final words.
All right, thank you so much. So for me, my final words would be, get on those tech tools that you've not used before. Just get on them. You don't wait till you get the job. Just get on those tools. Some people will
Mm.
say you've not used Slack. Just download the Slack. At least see how it works. Go online, check how it works. Leverage on LinkedIn. Nobody's coming to beg you again. Nobody's coming. I mean, gone are those days when most recruiters are always out there posting job or paying for job ads. We now come to look for you. Imagine the
Mm-hmm.
world market as a boyfriend to girlfriend relation. We are chasing you. Stop chasing at us. We want to get you. So why should we choose you? That is what you should. That's the mindset you should also have. Why should we choose you? You said you're a professional. You're not on LinkedIn. It's okay if you're feeling pressurized with everybody coming to say, "Hey, I just got congrats. I just got this," and everybody on LinkedIn is always getting something every day. No problem. Be you, be genuine, be real, be authentic, do you. Just be there, put yourself out there. It's a digital world now. You want to get a job in US, they would probably never see you, but you don't have any digital presence for us to even see what you look like, what you have done, your growth process, your career trajectory. See. So please get on LinkedIn today. Just start doing something. Yeah, so those are the
Wow.
practical tips give them. Don't feel.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If I were you and I'm on this call, I would go and look for Olaronke and Michelle. They are recruiters that are so full of knowledge and can really help you. There might be that missing link you need. Talenvo is also very, very best positioned for this to get your hands dirty. Michelle just spoke about tools. How are you getting experience? How are you preparing yourself for the real things? How are you building your portfolio? How are you building your skills? We can start that right here. So before we go, I just want to say a big thank you to Michelle and Olaronke. I learned a lot personally. I've been writing. I think we have room for questions, one or two questions. So um, do I hand over to Michelle or do we take the questions directly?
Yeah, I think maybe you can speak about the questions, and to whoever the question is tailored to.
All right. Let's see if we have.
Okay, hi Joke, hi Michelle, Laronke. We didn't get any question from the audience, so I
Checking the comment section right now.
anyone hear me?
All
Yeah,
right, we have one. I can see one. I don't know if this is from the same session. Says, from your experience, how can someone genuinely build and nurture professional relationships when they're just starting out or navigating a career shift? I think we have one question. I will take that. I'll take it again. Says, from your experience, how can someone genuinely build and nurture professional relationships when they're just starting out or navigating a career shift?
okay. So I think I'll go first on that. So I like the fact that the question has genuine relationship. So that means that you're also genuinely reaching out to whoever you want to maybe want to study or maybe get advisory services from. So first is you genuinely reach out to offer value. But what we often see now is it's a parasitic kind of reaching out. You're only reaching out because you need X particularly, and then maybe after, if the person is generous enough to provide maybe a response, and then the person goes radio silent. So how to build genuine connection is you don't have to wait till you actually meet them. You see somebody on LinkedIn, you admire their professional trajectory, you could just reach out and say, hey, maybe once in a while, oh, I could do X for you, maybe I could do you need a virtual assistant, you need somebody to take notes, I really like your professional trajectory. I want to maybe understudy you. So not like, oh, you need a CV writer. It's now when you reach out to Michelle. Today you say, hi, Michelle. Oh, I like what you're doing with Mitch Consulting. Tomorrow you're like, oh, can you review my CV? Oh, please let me rewrite my CV. So that doesn't show genuinity. So once it's parasitic, you can get genuine offering from it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That answers the question. Be genuine. Do not be parasitic. Be willing to offer as much as you want to gain. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. I'll say if you want to connect up to now, reach out to Michelle or Lauren Care. They have such wonderful services. Thank you so much for your time. And that's it.
Sorry,
Handing
Joko,
back.
I'd like to add one. I'd like to add something to
Okay.
this. Thank you so much. So one of the things I also see is people are looking upwards. They're not looking around where they are. It's a fake world already. So don't
Mm,
always look for people that are already there. Look at your peers. See people that are also in the same line with you and see how you can tap into it. Stop looking at Michelle Obama that will never pick your call or respond to your DMs. Look at people that are before you and how you can leverage those pairs. I mean the pairs around you. See how you can
yeah,
leverage it. And then one other important thing to do is volunteer. Volunteer does not mean you're a slave. Volunteer does not mean that they are using you. It means that you're learning. It means that you're
yeah,
partnering. It means that you're building relationship and you don't know where to take you. So let's be open to volunteering and don't always have expectations of what are they giving me. Don't have that expectation. Don't always have that entitlement spirit. Sometimes it's not because I mean I'm of the I advocate that companies should also support stipends and whatsoever. But don't always have a mindset that they must be giving me something to volunteer. No, the experience, the opportunity, the connection is already something. It's intangible, but it's something valuable. So people should look out for people around them, and be open to volunteering.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can attest to how those steps had helped me in the earlier stages of my career, and even up to today. I still try my best to volunteer and to network within my own community as well. So I can attest to how helpful those tips can be. Thank you very much, Michelle and Olarinke, for sharing from your wealth of knowledge. On behalf of Talenvo, I say thank you. So that'll bring us to the end of this panel session. If there are any more questions, you can either reach out to us privately or through the organizers, and we'll be more than open to give you some guidance and direction. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Hi, Joy.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, so I would ask you a couple of questions about Rapid Solve. And I would like to understand your struggles from the engineering standpoint, because I mean, from my end, I mean, it was exciting. Everything, I mean, there are so many things that are exciting and hard, but you look at it and it's really exciting, and you know that you are actually being user-centric with this product. So I would like to know, from your standpoint as an engineer, how was it really building this amazing product?
Oh yeah, I think you've already given an answer to the question, even in your question, in your statement there. It says you being user-centric, and that's really the core of what every engineer should be doing. You're not just writing code, you are solving problems, you are being user-centric, you are focusing on what the user needs. And I think this platform, Rapid Solve, it does that in wonderful fashion. So Rapid Solve was an exciting build. The team has worked diligently and tirelessly on this, and we have brought in our very best to make sure that this product is top class for every user. So, and from an engineering point of view, we have ensured that it's actually usable for every kind of talent, not just techies, but every kind of talent that's looking to build up experience. And I think that is just wonderful.
Okay, that's really nice to know. So the next question is, tell me about Queen. I keep hearing about Queen. Not that I don't know about it, but from your standpoint, tell the world about Queen.
Okay. For those who do not know what Queen is, we're not talking about the Queen of England. We are talking about Queen, our intelligence. So our intelligence is called Queen, and it powers this product, Rapid Solve. So it is helping users learn better, learn faster, learn more efficiently, and learn quicker. So when they submit projects, when they submit tasks on Rapid Solve, they get instant feedback, personalized feedback that can actually help them in the next step in their journey. It's not just waiting weeks or months for feedback or getting vague feedback on what you did wrong or what you did right.
Thank you very much for that. So my final question would be, I know that we had to, so one thing I know about Rapid Solve is that there is no restriction to skills. Yeah. So how exciting was that all? When you first heard about that, how did it make you feel? And while you were building it, how did it also make you feel?
This is very personal for me because I've worked with or have used a lot of these other platforms that offer similar features, but they are really more focused on techies. So you come across a platform that you can take on tasks for C# or React or Python, so to speak, such languages, but you don't really come across platforms that have a wide range of programming languages that any users can pick from. You don't really come across a platform that allows users like content writers. They are also they're also valid. Your feelings are valid. So content writers, copywriters, everyone who has a stake in tech can come on the platform and they can learn, they can build, they can upscale. So it's really wonderful. It's I think really filling a gap. It has a very specific, very useful niche, and I'm really excited to see how much this helps people.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to just try to show the world how Rapid Solve works. We'll just be taking one problem and we'll show the world how they can gain work experience in minutes. All right, so our first problem would be your e-commerce platform has duplicate order IDs. Write a function to return a list of unique order IDs from a given list. Now, I just wanted to say something. There was something he said, and I just want to remind us that you're not restricted by your skill, right? So you're not restricted by your skill. Whether you are a Go developer, a Python developer, a Java developer, or you are a content writer, you can jump on this. But this particular problem is for a developer. So we'll just leave it to IB to show us how it is done. And yeah, all right.
All right. We're getting our hands dirty now. So let us read this again. So the tag says your e-commerce platform has duplicate order IDs. Write a function to return a list of unique order IDs from a given list. And we have an example input and we also have an example output, so you know what to work towards. So something like this, tags like this on Rapid Solve are timed, so you have something to constrict you. I know it's a more work related scenario. It's not just open-ended, and you also get example input, example expected outputs for questions that are relevant in that regard. So I think for someone who would want to approach this, you will think about how this would be useful in a real world scenario, and it is very useful in a real world scenario. If imagine you had a store, right, and each item is supposed to be unique. You cannot have multiple items, multiple identifiers. So for this is actually really a really good question. So from a developer point of view, I would consider using a for loop to just loop over this and maybe check out for the ones that are unique and place them outside, and then the ones that are not unique, we remove them, and then we're filtering out the duplicates that way. So that's one approach that I would take. Another approach maybe would be to use a set map. So in JavaScript, we have a set map function that allows you to remove duplicates from an array. So arrays by default can have duplicates. So imagine that your list of shopping items is an array, a whole long list. They can be duplicates, but using a set, we can narrow it down and just take out all the duplicates, and it's done in a very neat and very orderly fashion. So while one wonderful thing which you will see now is that you don't just write your code and submit and wait for feedback. You write your code and you can actually run your code. That's wonderful. You can actually run your code and see the outputs, so you know if you are going in the right direction or not before you finally submit your task. Yes, exactly. So what we have here now, if I were to do it, I would probably use a set. So that's the most efficient and the cleanest way to do this, and it would take out all the duplicates from the list and it would see. So as you can see now, trying this out using a set, I just create a set, input the array into it, and clicking on run code and seeing it, we can see the output. So now we can now know that, okay, this based on the expected input and example output I was giving, we can see that we are on the right track and we're probably getting it right. So now we can now submit. So once you submit, we see that we can now get feedback from Queen. Queen Intelligence now gives you actual feedback on your work. How well have you submitted? How have you thought about this task? How well did you actually execute this based on the requirements and based on what was expected of you? And doesn't just give you feedback. It also gives you next steps. Like what next could you consider next time you want to view something like this, or what next should you look into if it thinks that you have done really well on this. So as you can see for yourself, it's actually a very, very useful tool.
Oh, wow. Well done. And guess what? We just got the results.
Yes.
That is amazing. Within minutes. Wow. That is really amazing. So as a talent, that means that you can actually get experience coins in the shortest way possible. So you can keep getting experience coins. Maybe in a day, you can keep getting experience coins as you keep using this. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing innovation. Yes. Thank you very much for doing this with me today, IB. Yeah, thank you.
Up next. Victoria Oladusu is a dedicated STEM education leader, empowering young minds to become global talented innovators. She's a skilled product specialist with extensive experience in tech startups and is passionate about building and managing functional, user-friendly digital products that will help provide global solutions.
Hi. Okay, I think I can. Can you hear me? All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. So today we'll be talking about career agility, how to adapt, pivot, and stay ahead in any industry. Please let me know if you can hear me. I think I'm supposed to see some chats, but I can't see it right now. So I don't know how to follow up. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. So, sorry, I'm on the go, currently in the car, but thank you so much. Okay, so you can hear me. All right. So, I'm Victoria, founder of Product of Africa STEM School, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to be agile in your career. So, firstly, I'm just going to tell you who I am, what I do, as someone who has founded a community and an organization. So at Products of Africa, we are empowering Africans with tech skills through detailed training, portfolio building, and internship. And we've been able to work with Talenvo. So I want to use this opportunity to wish Talenvo a happy anniversary. Thank you so much for the great work that you're doing for Africans in the ecosystem. And at STEM School, we are empowering STEM students to convert what is being taught in the classroom into real life innovations that would help solve Africa's biggest challenges. So apart from all of this, apart from being a quality education advocate, I am also a data scientist and a product manager. So what do you understand by career agility? I do not know if I can get some responses. What do you understand by career agility? So to you, what do you think it means to be agile in your career? Am I going to get responses? Anything, just let me know. What do you think? What's your thought about being agile in your career? Okay, so while we wait for that, I'm just going to talk about our content for today. So we're going to be discussing about understanding career agility, adapting to industry challenges, moving your career successfully, like moving from one career to the other, then upskilling for your future, and proofing your career, and strategies for thriving in a dynamic job market. So, who do we have here today? Are you unemployed? Are you self-employed? Are you currently looking for a job? Are you a recruiter? I thought I was going to see the comments, come in so that it could at least be interactive, but I'm yet to get any comments. Can we have like a brief introduction? Are you unemployed? Are you self-employed? Are you looking to, employ someone? Okay, I don't know if it's a network lag, but I'm just seeing Christiana's comments. Anyway, so what stage are you in in your career? So I was also going to ask that, and I was going to give you all a little backstory. All right, so this backstory is how I moved on from, managing brands. I used to manage several brands locally, internationally. I used to manage these brands, and I think that was the first time I actually made a lot of money. So I didn't move on from managing brands because it wasn't lucrative. In fact, it was, but I had to move on because I was finding purpose, and because I needed to exercise career agility. Now the world is moving fast. Everyone is trying to incorporate AI into the market, into their product and all of that. So how can you be agile enough to meet up with these trends? I moved on from being a brand manager to being a product manager to being a data product manager, and currently a data scientist. So it is really important to know how to be agile even as a career person. So you need to forget the niche, you need to move out of your box and adapt to what is around you, adapt to your surrounding, career wise, and then be agile about it. So these are some problems that career people face, and this happens because we can be too focused on chasing perfectionism. Oh, it has to be perfect. I need to have the perfect job. I need to have it correctly. If I'm a product manager, I have to be a senior product manager. I need to be a data scientist. You keep trying to chase perfectionism, and that is why we face the problems of we're not being self-aware. We can't adapt. We can't learn for a very long time. We can't keep seeking opportunity. There's no resilience. Sometimes you even find that you can't network with people when you're actually supposed to network, or you have the problem of networking in the wrong way. So these are some of the problems that career people face while chasing professionalism. So one thing I'm going to leave you with today is that leave perfectionism. Stop trying to chase perfectionism. Stop thinking that everything has to be perfect. Your career has to be perfect. You need to be a senior this, senior that. Instead, look for how to adapt to that environment that is being that is being that is out there, and look for how to adapt and look for how to progress in it. So what exactly is career agility? This is, the ability to adapt, just like I have said, the ability to adapt, to change your career path as much as you need based on the demand of the market. So basically it's just like a give and take thing. The market needs this, how can I give it, right? The market is seeking this, how can I provide it, how can I be able to supply the demands of the market. So how does your personal goals actually align with this? These are things that you need to ask yourself if you want to exercise career agility. Now, in this world, in the world that we currently are in, career agility actually helps individuals like us navigate uncertainties like issues of job market, and it helps you stay relevant in your field by seizing new opportunities. So you're not bothered about, oh, I'm working here now and I can be fired at any moment. No, you're not bothered about being fired. You're actually looking for how to get balance in that job, or how to move on to the next one. So which brings me to the next point: seizing new opportunities. So career agility also empowers individuals like you and I to identify and take advantages of emerging opportunities, and to enhance satisfaction in your career, satisfaction and growth in your career. So what are the benefits of being career agile? One, it helps to increase your employability. So you're more employable. You are out there because you're able to meet with the demands of the market. Also, you are able to scale faster in your career, so you don't have like lags and all of that. You Because you're able to meet the demand of the market, you can scale faster, you can move faster. If you are not content or you're not comfortable in your current work environment, you can easily move on from there into somewhere else, right? Because you're able to meet the demands of what they actually need. Also, your career options are expanded. You're not fit into a box, right? You can move on from one career to the next. You're a product manager doesn't mean that you can't exercise. Doesn't mean that you can't actually work as something else. It means that you can move on from there into another place. It means that you can expand your career. You're not fit into the box of being a product manager and just a product manager only. So there's also resilience to the job market shift. And there's that confidence that you have because you know that you're the hot cake, because you know that you can meet the demands of the market, because you know that you have what it takes, right? So you have that fulfillment and you have the confidence. So because I'm currently based in Nigeria, I'm going to talk about examples of agile careers that we have in Nigeria. So if you find yourself in the tech and software development field, when I say this, I mean fields like software engineering, product manager, data analyst. These are tech and software development fields. So it is you need to know that these are examples of agile careers, because you're constantly evolving. The tools that you're using are constantly changing or upgrading, updating, whatever. The frameworks and user needs require developers to learn and pivot regularly, meaning that you're not constrained to that particular tool that you've been using before, or use cases. So also as a digital marketer, you can find yourself um, under these examples. Also as a creative and media person, as an entrepreneur, I know that this is very, very rampant with entrepreneurs. Today you're saying you're doing this, tomorrow you are selling something else, or you're into something else. That's because you're fluid, you're flexible, and you can move from one career to the other. It's not like you're necessarily changing your whole career. It just means that you're able to deliver in different areas, still under that same umbrella of your career. So um edtech, online education, financial services, fintech. If you're a crypto analyst, a digital banker, all of this is still relates to you. Health tech and telemedicine, remote freelancing. I purposely saved the remote freelancing for the last, because I know that freelance writers, virtual assistant, executive assistant, personal assistant, remote tech support people are actually, I think they've started to exercise that action of being fluid, or being flexible because they can actually take up more than one client at the same time. They can actually work on different kinds of projects at the same time. You could see a virtual assistant that actually works for different kinds of clients, right? So they could work for someone in traditional banking sector, they could work for someone in health system, they could work for someone in tech. As far as they can actually cater to their needs, I think people in remote freelancing are the ones that are actually exercising this already. And I'm just using this medium to encourage us all to also try to adapt to these career agility methods because it is very, very useful. And like I said, I already mentioned the benefits earlier, so you can also use that. So how exactly do you adapt to these industry changes? So firstly, you need to identify the trends that are in the industry and how it is shifting, how it is changing. So you need to understand the importance of being informed. So a lot of people miss opportunities because they are not informed, right? So you need to stay informed and you need to make a lot of research. So that's one thing about me. I love making researches. I don't know if I said it earlier, but when it comes to making research, that's just me. I really love making research, and that's one of my core skills, right? So you need to know how to make research. You need to understand emerging technologies and your consumer preferences. So here, okay, so developing a flexible mindset is also something else. I think I put this picture here because I wanted to show you how at this point in my life, like when I took this picture, I was actually working on developing a flexible mindset. I used to have a rigid mindset when it comes to work and my lifestyle, right? But I had to develop a flexible mindset. I had to embrace change. It was also a time when I left a particular job. So I had to embrace change. I had to view challenges positively. It means that when you are faced with these challenges of, I don't think I'm fit in this environment anymore, or the work culture isn't good enough for me, then you should embrace that, view it positively. I didn't see it as the end of my life or the end of my career. I actually saw it as an opportunity to forge ahead, look into, a new environment and how I can make an impact there. So thriving in dynamic industries, all of these things are really, really going to be helpful if you want to develop a flexible mindset. So like I said, the first thing is embracing change, because changes will occur whether you like it or not. Changes will occur. You can't be static, right? So the only constant thing is change, and changes will occur. So a flexible mindset actually helps you embrace change instead of resisting it, then fostering adaptability and resilience. So viewing challenges positively, like I said, and thriving in dynamic industries. So real world examples of adaptation in Nigerian market are resilience in business, startup innovation. These are just examples of how the Nigerian market is adapting, right? So we have the startup innovation and market adaptation strategies. So how to pivot your career successfully. First thing you need to do is recognize when to actually change, right? So when you start to notice a decline in your job satisfaction, remember how I talked about my work culture and the work environment where I was at when in the previous slide, right? You need to understand when there's no satisfaction in your job anymore, when you're not getting that internal satisfaction, even because from the internal satisfaction, it can actually spread externally. So instead of allowing it get to that level, you should recognize it immediately. I'm not getting satisfaction with this job. Even the stakeholders are not getting any satisfaction, it's declining. So you need to pivot. Then lack of growth opportunities. Probably in that field, there are no opportunities or things are getting saturated. Look for somewhere else where you can actually deliver, where you can actually meet their needs and start to supply them what they really want, right? So there was one thing I forgot to mention. The greatest wealth you can have is actually your intellect. You yourself, investing in yourself, investing in your intellect is the greatest wealth you can have, right? So I was going to mention that because to supply to the market demand, you need to be at that level. You need to have worked on yourself. You need to have recognize what you can offer, and you need to be self-aware. So let's move on to the next slide. So steps to successfully pivot in your career. One is self-assessment. Oh, see, I just mentioned self-awareness, right? So one way to get that is to assess yourself. Conduct a thorough self-assessment to understand your strengths, your weaknesses, what interests you, and then this would actually help you clarify your career goals. So what drives you? What interests you? Is it seeing people smile? Is it creating solutions for people? Like now we have Rapid Solve by Talenvo, right? So what must have driven them to create that? Those are the questions I need to ask yourself. Like, what's the drive? What interests me? What are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? So all of these things are under self-assessment. You need to use that to understand what you can offer, right? So identify transferable skills that you have. Remember, I mentioned the supply and the demand, right? So you need to know the transferable skills that you have, recognize it, list them out. What are the core skills that I can transfer from myself to another person, from myself to a community, from myself to even the nation as a whole? So you need to ask yourself these questions. Are these skills relevant? Are they good enough? Do I need to work on myself? Do I need to make it better? So these are the questions that you actually need to ask yourself. Then pursue new opportunities. Okay, so this is a case study of successful career people that have pivoted in their career. We have Thames here, who went from being, I think, a sales manager to an artist. We have Aresta, we have Tunde Onokoya, and we have, all other people here. I don't know who you might know. You might mention them in the comments. Tell me who you recognize here. These are people that actually moved on from a particular career into what they're currently doing now. And how were they able to do it? They were able to adapt. They were able to assess themselves. They were able to recognize their transferable skills. They were able to recognize their impact. They were able to also make impact and transfer these to other people. So they are not rigid. They are agile in their career, right? They're flexible. They're able to give when the society needs. So that's one thing you should recognize. So how to upskill for your future. One is identifying key skills that are in demand, balancing your work, educational and personal life. And okay, there was one thing I was supposed to add here, I can't find it. Anyway, so these two are ways to upskill for your future. So future proofing your career. I'm trying to work with time, so that's why I'm just rushing this whole thing. So one is building a continuous learning habit. Then one is building a continuous learning habit. Sorry, networking and mentorship opportunities, and leveraging technology and innovation in Nigeria. We have so many technology, we have so many innovation right now in Nigeria. How are you leveraging it? You need to ask yourself these questions. How are you networking? Are you networking the right way? I think I already mentioned this earlier. How to network, and then how to receive mentorship, how to give mentorship, how to recognize opportunities for collaboration, the value that you're seeking from this mentorship. Don't just go under anybody for mentorship. You need to recognize, you need to know what you're looking for, what value are you looking for, and what do you want to give. Okay, then the importance of the networking that you're seeking. Then build a continuous learning habit, like I said earlier. So this is the end of my presentation. I know it was really fast because I was trying to keep up with time, and I hope that you have learned something. So in conclusion, understand the importance of career agility. It is important for adapting to rapid change in various industries, whether you're in media, whether you're in journalism, whether you're in tech, whether you're a farmer. Okay, be able to adapt to rapid change in various industries, and this will help your continuous growth. Then secondly, effective networking. Build a strong network. It is very, very, very vital. And then upskilling. Never stop learning. Keep learning. This will help you adapt more easily. Keep learning. Stay true to your continuous learning, and this will actually help you exercise career agility. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Victoria. That was very insightful. and I'm very sure the audience learned a lot, just like I did. I know you're in transit now, so I'm guessing we can just send in our questions to you later on, so you don't have to worry about the disruptions. So once again, all right. Thank you so much, Victoria, once again. And our audience, thank you so much. I like what Gloria says. Like she practiced what she was teaching, being able to show that agility, being on the road and also still ensuring that she can present and dispense what she has to. So I love that comment. I love that comment. So keep it coming, keep it coming. What have you learned so far in today's session? Please do well to share in the chat. Right about now, we are going to the is what would I call it? I think adjectives fail me right now, but this is going to be the last segment of the summit, and we save the best for last. So please do well to follow attentively. The next person who's going to be coming up is a person who knows his onions, and I feel one of the things that is particularly interesting about this person is that he moved from a different background totally to tech, and he has established and cemented himself there. So I think is a session that would really, really, really transform you. So please, if you have questions, again, if you have questions, I don't see a lot of questions. So if you have questions, leave them in the chat, okay? And yes, Tim, you can take it away.
Up next, Olushola is a solution architect at AWS. He has made a purpose out of helping individuals in the transitioning process into tech, having transitioned from an economics background into a launchpad for a thriving career in cloud technology. He specializes in guiding organizations through digital transformation, working alongside forward-thinking leaders to streamline cloud migrations, drive efficiency, and empower teams.
Okay, hi everyone. Can you hear me? I'm just trying to share my screen, but if anyone can just, okay, yes, we can. Thank you. Okay. Okay, amazing. You should be able to see my screen. Okay, yeah, I think I can see my own screen as well. Okay, awesome. Okay, it's a real pleasure to be here with you. Day 3 of the Workforce Summit, Workfront Summit. And this is the last session. So, and I know today we've been talking about empowering talent for the future. I've tried to join some of the sessions myself. Really great. And thank you so much, Talenvo, for inviting me. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Olushola Ladpupo, and I'm a solutions architect at AWS based in the UK. And today I want to, help you look at your career a little differently. I know there's been a lot that's been said. Even today, we've talked about growth. We've just finished talking about agility and resilience as well. The panel session I joined earlier today, we've talked about networking and some of the things I will be talking about. And, to start with, in terms of the focus I've been given, right? Positioning yourself for opportunities beyond, job applications. And while we're talking about this, that's because some of the best opportunities don't just come through a job board. And in fact, the most exciting roles you ever land probably might come from you positioning yourself long before an opening even exists. So this session is all about us flipping the scripts and moving beyond you applying for jobs and learning how to really attract those career changing opportunities, by being intentional about your visibility, about your voice, and about your value. About your value. Great. So let me move on. Now, let me start with a simple question, right? How many of you, you don't need to put it in the chat. So, how many of you have ever applied to like 50 jobs and you had nothing back? I have. After my master's degree in the UK, I applied to a lot of organizations. I remember one company, I won't mention their name, but I think I did maybe about 60 different applications. I just really wanted to get a job in this company. So, that feeling of sending out applications after application into, void, which many of us can relate to. But the truth is, about over 80% of the best job opportunities are actually never even posted because they are filled through things like referrals, recommendations, or even because someone just remembered a name that stood out. I was listening to the keynote session of today's summit, right? And I can't remember her name now. She works at Google currently. I think she worked at Microsoft, SAP, and Google. And then she was mentioning the fact that the Microsoft job she got was because a network that she's built at SAP. That's someone just remembering her name and referring her to a job. So the game isn't just about you being the most qualified in the room, but it's also about being the most visible to the right people. Because who likes you matter, who knows you matter. And that's because we are human beings. So people buy from people. And today I want to show you how to stop relying solely on applications that you're putting in and how you can start positioning yourself to attract opportunities instead. Right. So to start with, I want you all to know that we all have what we call an unfair advantage, and it might be a particular skill, it might be a unique experience, it might be your story. When Michelle was introducing me, she mentioned that I didn't have a tech background. Yes, some of you probably don't have a tech background at the moment, but you are looking to transition. Myself, years ago, I studied economics, then my master's economics and finance, and I was able to transition. And I'm building a story around that at the moment. So that might be you as well, or even it might be a relationship that you have that can give you insights others don't have. But what happens is many of us overlook it because we assume, it's not really valuable. I don't think people would really, connect to my story or even hear me out. Or worse, sometimes we downplay ourselves because we seem too humble. Oh, I don't want people to know me on LinkedIn. I don't want my employees or my employer to know anything and all of that. So we want to be humble. We don't want to blow our own trumpets, right? But what I want you to do today is to shift your thinking. And what is it that you do exceptionally well if you look inwards, right? What problems do people often ask you to solve? That's your edge. And yes, it is something that we often forget, right? LinkedIn in itself, for example, which is the main platform for, networking and connections in terms of job, right? Is a, global job board. But LinkedIn in itself is an unfair advantage because it's a massive platform that is filled with different decision makers. Like literally, you can connect to a CEO from an organization, you can connect with big decision makers just by being on the platform. So that means that if you learn how to use it strategically, you won't need to chase opportunities, but the opportunities will start coming to you. And I just remembered something I learned a few years ago, right? Which says that sometimes success is not something we chase after, but success is such that you build yourself, you invest in yourself, you build yourself to the version that success is looking for. You build yourself to be so valuable that those opportunities start looking for you. And that's what I'm trying to say here. So ask yourself, right, what can I do exceptionally well that others will value? And here's the secret about personal branding. It's not about you. it's about who you help. And even one of the sessions today, I remember one of the speakers mentioned that what can you give? Don't just go to say, I want a job or something. What can you give? Because the strongest brands are built on service and relevance. So ask yourself, who am I a hero to? Or who benefits most from my insight or from my experience? And for example, if you're a developer, maybe you are learning AI, for example, and you are sharing real world projects, and the recruiters and startups start looking for AI talents, they will start paying attention to you. Why? Because your content isn't just showing what you do, it is speaking directly to their needs. And when you get clear on who you serve, your positioning becomes really magnetic, right? So great brands, start with knowing who exactly, who you can help, defining your audience to say that, okay, this is the right niche that I'm working with, like a software developer, for example. This is what I'm working on. These are the problems our employers have. And then positioning yourself, having clarity, having the confidence and the relevance in your niche and your industry. And, like the example I gave, like a developer, you showcasing that, okay, these are the AI projects I've worked on, and then putting that, on LinkedIn or putting it on GitHub or creating a Medium article out of that, or publishing on maybe AWS communities page, for example, or other open source community, so that people can see. But why did I bring that up? You need to clarify who you serve. How do I want to position myself? Where am I currently? Who are the audience? Who are those decision makers that I'm trying to attract? And once you've done that, then the next thing is, now how can you create content that would build your credibility? And posting online isn't just about visibility, it's about authority. And people don't just follow random content, which is why you need to build authority and social proof. People follow people that have consistently delivered value, who sounds like they know what they are talking about, right? So you definitely need to build trust when you're creating content that builds credibility, that you want people to look for you. And this means that your content needs to do these three things if you want to take that down. Number one, you need to teach something. So I know that, for example, you are maybe trying to transition to tech and you're wondering, okay, what can I teach? Or even maybe you're a developer, but all those projects that you are doing, maybe to prepare yourself for a certification, for example, all those learnings that you are doing, those are things that you can teach, that you can say, here is how I did this and this and this. Here is how I studied for this certification. So you need to teach something, whether that's an how to post, how to do this, maybe a carousel or a personal insight. And number two is you need to show what you are learning or building, which I just gave an example, because this builds trust. It tells me that, okay, you are learning and you are very curious, and I can trust you to learn when I bring you to my organization. So you need to show what you are learning and what you are building. And number three, you need to take a stand. So you need to have an opinion backed by data, actions, and results, which are very powerful. So try to avoid, adjectives or things that are not very, very concise. So be specific. For example, don't say I improved performance of these while I was working on this project, but you can post things and write things like, I was able to improve, here is how I improved upload time by maybe 40% in 2 weeks, for example. That's authority. That's what people want to see on your profile. Even when you're transitioning, I was able to study for my certification, even though I was doing the job, I was able to do it in this, timeline or in this amount of time. That gives people the trust that, okay, if they give you a project, you're able to meet a deadline. Now, I know that's a platform that we all know. I really hope you do. It's LinkedIn, right? Because everyone talks about it. It's, the number one, about 1 billion people are on the platform. So you really need to start thinking or using that platform if you are not. And why is that? Because It is a 24/7 networking platform, and it is free to join. It only probably needs your data and your phone, right? And the fact that you have a battery-powered phone. So LinkedIn isn't just an online resume, it's a living, breathing room full of opportunities. I know that so many people I've spoken to, oh my God, like, I don't want to go on LinkedIn. There's so many things and all of that. But you need to know your intention. You need to know what you are going to do on it. And it doesn't mean that you need to be a creator, right? But just interacting on the platform alone is enough. Because I've heard countless stories of people that are getting jobs via LinkedIn. And they're not even creators, maybe like myself. They are just going there to interact, to like a post, to comment, and all of that. And that's why I'm giving you this simple formula to work with. Number one, try to comment on 20 posts in your space every day. I mean, that probably looks like a big number. But the more you show up, the more the algorithm starts recognizing you, the more the algorithm starts noticing you. And that increases your visibility. Number two, try to send personalized connection requests to people you admire or people you want to learn from. Just a connection request, nothing more. And I know that, people probably say, oh, this person, I don't know this person. You don't have to know the person. So far, they are in your industry, they are in your niche. Connect, connect, connect. And be genuine in your connection, right? Personalize your request. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of all our speakers for today now. Hi, Michelle. I think I can remember Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for that session at Talenvo Summit. I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to connect. Let me know if I can help with anything. That's a personalized request, right? Or these are the things I learned from your session. So try to connect with people you admire, people you want to learn from, recruiters that are probably working in different companies, not to bombard them with DMs or anything, but just to create that personalized connection. And then start sending DMs to people, start thoughtful conversations. How are you doing? Let me know if there's anything I can help. I really saw, your post about this. This is the opinion I have. So try to start 2 or 3 meaningful conversations daily if you can, if you have the time, not with an ask, but with curiosity. And if you can as well, schedule some networking chats, or coffee chats, maybe one per week, for example. Now, why I'm giving these small actions is because if you do them consistently, they are going to position you and as someone that others want to work for. And a lot of people treat networking like, collecting Pokemon cards, right? So more contacts, more power. But that's not true networking. Because real strategic networking is really about relevance and value. So it's about you mapping out the key people in your industry that you want to connect to and finding ways to offer value to them first. Finding ways to offer value to them first and not, saying, oh, Aishola, I saw your post on this. I want you to mentor me. Please, I have this question. I'm like, okay. I have a lot of DMs like that, but find a way to offer value first. And that might mean, for example, you spotting a gap in what someone is doing and you sending them a DM with a solution. And maybe you create something useful for them without even asking for permission. For example, you go on a website of a company and you see like maybe a gap and you go to them to say, oh, I saw this gap on your website and I've created this, I've created that. This is it for free, free to use it. Some people don't even know they have a problem until you come and say, I saw this problem and this is the solution, right? So that's how to connect, that's how to offer value, that's how to, connect strategically with people. And, while I was preparing for this, I remembered this quote from a book called The Go Giver, which says that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. So remember that. And that mindset changes everything. Great. So I just wanted to share my story a little bit. And, these are just some of the GMs, I've gotten in terms of, opportunities coming to me and not me chasing them. So a few months ago, I think about November thereabouts, I started working on my personal brand and just being visible, just being seen as a thought leader on LinkedIn on the platform, right? And I started at 3K followers at that time. I think now I'm almost at 13,000 followers now. With great visibility, and some of the things I've been able to achieve, if I call them achievements, is, different recruiters reaching out to me. You can see some of them on screen at the moment saying that, oh, this is job offers. I mean, a lot. Oh, this is the job offer. We are looking for someone like this. We think your profile will be great. That's how the visibility of the platform starts attracting you. But this is not just, magic, right? I had to, start creating content, but most importantly, I had to network with people strategically, being in the comment section, liking people's posts, and being consistent with it. And with that, I've been able to also get like different people wanting to come into my mentorship program, which I offer one-on-one, or getting invitation for speaking opportunities, or even interestingly, getting an award in my organization just by being visible on LinkedIn, right? Which is one of the highlights for me. So this is just my story to tell you that, okay, trying to position yourself strategically can bring things over to you rather than you going out there. For example, I recently spoke in at AWS London Summit, and just putting that image post on LinkedIn alone got thousands of impressions. That's thousands of people saying it, and different people reaching out to say, "Oh, can you speak in this event? Can you do that?" That's But how did I start? I actually started with writing articles about, oh, this is how I transition, and I want to help other people to do so. For you, it might be, this is the project I'm working on. In case you are working on the same thing, this is it. Let's connect, let's chat. Think about it, right? Anyhow you can bring value. It might be bringing value to the audience, it might be bringing value to people in the DM, but at least be on the platform and try to do something. Focus on your visibility and your value. Okay, just looking at my time. So let's make this actionable. Yes, if you can call it a weekly plan for anyone in this room that you can follow. So actionable steps, right? Number one, clarify your unique edge. What's your unique or unfair advantage? And update your LinkedIn headline, update your LinkedIn profile. Go to all the sections. I mean, you're asking, how can I do that? Just go on YouTube. There's so many videos that people have done on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn also works with algorithms. So when recruiters are searching, they search for a particular role. You want yourself to come up in those search. So you need to definitely optimize your profile, your headline. That's what would come up for them. Your skill section, so many things. But this is not a LinkedIn session, right? So you can watch YouTube videos or check online for that. And secondly, post something. Like, push yourself to actually post something, even if it's just once. And it can just be an introduction post, for example, to say, hi, my name is this. I've joined LinkedIn for the last 10 years, but I've never really said who I am. Here's my face. This is what I do. These are the people I'm looking to connect with. Say hi in the comments. And that's how you start, right? So even just once. And if you want to go above and beyond, then post content that teaches people, that inspires people, that reflects, people reflecting about, or cheat sheets about things that you've seen before, or even maybe post something about this Workfront Summit that you've just attended and say, here are the major highlights. Tag Talenvo, tag Temidayo, and a few people of the speakers, and just share your learning. That's how you start. And then third, I've mentioned this already, comments. Comments alone is as powerful as you creating content. So connect, join the right conversations. The author of the post begin to notice you when you start commenting and engaging on their content. And number four, send direct message, send DMs to people, connect with people. Don't, not to pitch, not to ask for opportunities, but genuinely connect with them. And when the right time and opportunity comes, you can then, maybe ask for something on your mind. And then, of course, networking call. Say, oh, can we meet for a networking chat just to learn about what you do? Whenever you have time, no pressure. And some people, you probably DM them and they won't respond. That's perfectly fine, right? It's an opportunity to move on and go for the next one. And lastly, so here's the big takeaway, right? If you don't get anything else from this session, you don't need to be the loudest. You just need to be seen by the right people. Again, you don't need to be the loudest in the room or on the platform. No, you just need to be seen by the right people and also in the right way. So that means that positioning yourself is not about pretending to be something that you are not, but it is about you showing people what you already know, what you already do, or your story, or who you already are. So don't just apply, make people think of you for the role that you want to go for, right? So I will leave you with one challenge. If you want to take that on, take that challenge. I think one of the speakers also mentioned the challenge, right? So choose one thing from today in terms of you positioning yourself on LinkedIn, for example. That might be a big one, and take action on it in the next 24 hours. For you, it might not be LinkedIn. It might be messaging someone on WhatsApp that you've led for a long time and just connecting with them. Oh, I love what you do. I love this thing that you do. I just wanted to ask if you need any help, or I just wanted to connect with you. Just create connection, build connections, build strategic relationships. So I leave you with that challenge, from now to the next 24 hours, and take action on something, right? And if you want to continue the conversation, please feel free to connect with me, on LinkedIn, definitely. And I would love to hear what stood out to you the most during this particular session. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Olushola. That was very insightful. Christina said it all, that this was a career growth and personal branding masterclass. I myself took notes. So on LinkedIn, get ready to see me. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have time for one question. I think it's a very critical question we need to answer. So there's this thing, established leaders say that we see people who don't even have the experience positioning themselves as experts on LinkedIn. So I want to ask you now that we need to start taking these steps to cement ourselves on this professional networking site, at what point do you think it will be too much, or how do we find a balance?
Right. Honesty is very important to start with. So please don't position yourself, don't say what you can do, basically, because if you maybe get reached out to say, oh, can we meet you? Can you have an interview? Then you begin to say, please give me 1 week to go and study and then come. So, and it's the same thing, right, Michelle, you hear people putting things on their CV that they cannot do, so I would say that there's a difference between putting things there that you can't do and also personal branding, because some people, they can do a lot, but they don't just know how to sell themselves.
Yeah.
Those are two different things, right? So there's how you can optimize your profile. It is still what, and I've helped people optimize their LinkedIn profile that I logged in to check it, right? And they actually check the profile and say, okay, wow, is this my profile? And it is exactly what they can do. I just put it in a way to brand themselves much better. So I would say, be honest, don't put in something you can't do. But the balance is, how are you marketing yourself? How are you blowing your own trumpet with the little that you're doing? Or even if you're transitioning or you're looking for jobs, but what have you done? What can you do? What are you working on? Begin to share those things in an honest way. But I think the core message here is branding. Branding. You can, I mean, we use products every day, right? Some products, you can see how they brand themselves and everyone knows them because of packaging. They are so expensive, but people still buy them, and it's just branding and packaging. But these other products, it works, but we don't really hear about it because of branding. And so it's more about the messaging that you are giving to people in terms of your branding and how you come across. And how do I know that? When I visit your LinkedIn profile, I can already see, oh, wow, okay, this is how this person is. These are the project they've done. This is their skills. This is their headline. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, very helpful. If I could replay what you just said, you mentioned that there's a difference between someone who already knows their onions but just needs to put themselves out there, and then there's someone who doesn't even know but is lying. So that's the difference. Thank you so much, Olushola. This was very insightful. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And with the action points, we have work on our table to do. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Wow, awesome. How are you feeling, everyone? We just had the last speaker for the summit, for the Workfront Summit 2025. And I must say that that was amazing. I feel like every speaker we had, every panel session we had, everything they dispensed contributed to a awesome piece we have to take and apply, whether as company leaders, whether as recruiters, whether as professionals or aspiring employees, right? So I just want you to go into the chat right now, and this is more or less like networking but with a difference. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? I want you to drop it in the chat so that you all can follow one another. You have no idea who is watching this with you. The person could be a recruiter, the person could even be someone on the same level as you are but can connect you to the kind of role you are looking to get or the kind of person you're looking to hire. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, go to the chat right now and drop that link. Or if you're having troubles dropping the link, you can just type your LinkedIn profile name. And while you're doing that, I just want to give a quick shout out to yesterday I gave a shout out to some of our sponsors and community partners, and I'll be doing that again, but I'll start with some special people. We had 3 product designers who took their time to design the Workfront Summit website. If you've been to the website, you can see that it's a website with a difference. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Okonkwo, Arinzechuku Pascal, to Eno Obong, Nseabasi George, and Bakare Wali Hilahi. I hope I did not murder that. But thank you so much for putting your expertise into this websites that we can enjoy. We appreciate you once again, Okonkwo, Eno Obong, and Bakari. And once again, a big thank you to our sponsor, Gig Engineer. Thank you for making this happen. To our community partners, Migenic Stride, Frank and Lydia, NZ Foundation, UX Writers Africa, Intern Kit, and Techies on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for making this summit happen. We couldn't have made these 3 days what it is without your help. And with that, we are gradually winding up to say goodbyes. So I just want to reiterate what Olushola said again. If you're wondering what is that thing I need to post, you don't need to just, you know what, you can start with those things you've learned within the conference. Even if it's just one line, just go to LinkedIn and say, oh, over the past 3 days I participated or I joined in the Workfront Summit 2025, and this was what I learned. Tag Talenvo, tag the speakers. Let me give you a cheat. You know, when you tag them, you might be wondering, I just have 15 followers on LinkedIn. But once you tag those people, and imagine Talenvo repost or Olushola repost, just to repost, you're already opening up yourself to their network. And little by little, it has that ripple effect. So I want to encourage you, what you learned, take it to LinkedIn. If you have other social media platforms, do the same. Add the hashtag Workfront Summit 2025. And we can't wait to see all that this summit has birthed or will birth in your career or in your company or in the work that you do, right? And we would also like to get feedback on how this summit has been. A link is going to be sent right now. It will also be on the screen. So please give us feedback. Is there anything you think you would like to see in the next edition? Please do include that. Lastly, I would want to say a big happy anniversary to Talenvo, the convener for this summit. Thank you for betting this vision that is transforming the future of work. And we wish you many more years of impact. All right. And with that, I bring the Workfront Summit 2025 to an end. Yay! So please go to your socials, go everywhere, and let everyone know how amazing this summit was for you. Until I come your way next time, my name is Michelle Adamo. I had an amazing time with you. Do have an amazing week, life, career ahead. Bye.
Hi, I'm Okonkwo Uche, a graduate of computer science. Upon graduation, I had to manage my dad's business for a while. There, I found myself asking questions like, why does the demand of a particular product peak at a certain time? And also, when is the best time to stock up on a particular product? I was already doing analysis without even realizing it. Then it dawned on me, why not pursue a career in data analytics? Then I researched the necessary toolset needed to become a data analyst. Theory happens to be the essential. Excel, MySQL, and Power BI. Having prior knowledge in Excel, I first learned Excel, then I went to the others. I took a data analytics course from Google and I got certified. I worked on various projects. The next phase was getting a recruiter. That's where you come in.
What a time we've had at the Workfront Summit 2025, and we're so thrilled that you stayed with us all the way. As we close out on this powerful 3-day journey, I want to, on behalf of the entire Talenvo team, say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for choosing to be a part of something different. Over the past 3 days, we have listened to brilliant minds, from our keynote speakers to the panel sessions and our amazing hosts. We've engaged in deliberate, beautiful, and great conversations. Great ideas have flowed from this stage, and we have challenged what is possible in the future of work. Now, this was not just a summit, it was a turning point, a whole new movement. And we're so honored and proud that you did this with us. It doesn't end when the screen goes off. It doesn't end when we get off the stage. The momentum continues to rise, and we expect that you keep up the energy wherever you are, wherever you go. I'm here to invite you to 3 actions. Okay. First off, get ready for Workfront Summit 2026. It's going to be a whole new level of impact. 2, you have to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Keep updated, know what's next, see all of our community activities and future opportunities. And we also invite you to explore our brand new product, Rapid Solve, created to help you tackle experience and hiring challenges in quicker, faster, more efficient ways. Until next year, we say keep the fire burning and keep showing up. Thank you very much, and bye.